to introduce yourself in the chat, let us know who you are, where you are, if you're new to CodeHS, maybe if you've taught any CodeHS courses before, that would be awesome. And you can put that right in the chat at the bottom of your screen. Awesome, upstate New York. I'm from New York. Nice to see you. Awesome, so I see some people introducing themselves in the chat. Great. We have a few more people joining us. Awesome, Tina, I see you're in DC. I am now in Northern Virginia, in Alexandria, right outside DC, so awesome. Reston, Virginia, awesome. And then South Africa, a little bit farther. Awesome. I see a lot of people hopping in. So we're gonna get started in just a few seconds. We have a few more people coming in. And we are gonna have a full 2 hours of awesome information about our Intro to Python course. Yeah, I know. I currently work in FCPS, so yeah, I know. I'm trying to push CodeHS too. So the attendance link, thank you, Pepsi. One of my coworkers here is going to drop a link into the chat. You'll see the attendance link there. If you could take a minute to just click through that link, that will record your attendance for us. It won't have you, put any information in or anything. So just we'll track who is here, how many people we had here for our Python workshop today. Awesome. And so we can get started. We're going to just do a few quick introductions. So my name is Julia Trigo. I am working this summer as a PD specialist at CodeHS, and I actually teach at an FCPS school in Northern Virginia during the year. So nice to meet all of you. And we have an awesome group here today. We have Jennifer Campbell, who is our curriculum developer working on the Python course. So you're going to get to hear a lot from her today. She's going to teach us some lessons through the course and give you some awesome tips on how to teach this course. We also have Leah Sloan here, who is our head of the PD team at CodeHS. And we also have MR and Ursula helping us. We're going to make sure that all your questions get answered and you leave here today with all the information that you were looking for. So again, there is a link in the chat. Maybe MR, if you want to drop it in one more time, if you could just click through that attendance link so that we can keep track of how many people were here to take a look at our Intro to Python workshop today. And we're going to get started. All right, so we do have a lot of people here, and we're going to have a lot of questions. And as you saw during our introductions, the chat can blow up very quickly, and we want to make sure we don't miss anything any information you're looking to get. So if you could open this parking lot document, which is going to be put right into the chat there, you'll be able to record any questions there so that if you need an answer recorded, you'll have information right there. It's really great way for us to be able to share links with you so that you can get all the information you're looking for and nothing falls through the cracks. So that is a really good place to put your questions. If you put them in the chat, we're not going to ignore them, but it will be a lot easier to keep track of all those questions if you can put them into that parking lot document. All right. So if you are new to CodeHS and you need an account, you can head right over to this link where you can sign up for your teacher account. It will just ask you for a few pieces of information. You'll see later when we look at our courses and our teacher tools how teacher accounts have different pieces of information than student accounts. So you will put in some information about your school and get verified, and then you'll be able to access all of our curriculum on our site. If you already have a sign up, if you already signed up for an account, you don't need to go through this. You can open up your CodeHS account because we're going to get logged in and use that as we go through our session today. But if you also just want to sit back and watch, that is totally fine. You can get an account after our session and take a look back at all that information that we went through today. All right. So once you have that account, do we have any questions or anyone needing help getting into there?
I apologize that I just came in a bit late, but I'll just try to get in real quick. Hopefully,
No problem.
I may have an account. So, and
yeah, so if you go to just codehs.com, you should be able to see, you can try to log in if you have one, or you can just sign up and get that going.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So once you have your account all set up, we are going to join our demo course for today so you can engage with some of our content in our Python course. So if you go to this link, which we're going to drop into the chat, thank you, MR, for all the links. We're going to join a section as a student. So you are going to join Jennifer's course today, and she will be going through some of those lessons. And the code, if it asks you for a code, it's the last 5 characters of that URL, so 3D20B. That's what you'll enter in. This is the same way your students join courses on CodeHS. So you want to get enrolled there so that you are able to access all the materials and feel like a student today instead of the teacher. We've all been a teacher this year in a very crazy year, so it will be nice to be the student for a little while. All right, and if anyone's having any trouble, you can either ask for help in the chat or in the parking lot.
What is the code to get in? I'm sorry, what is the code to get in?
Yep, good question. The code is those last 5 digits of that URL, 3D20B.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so let's take a look while we're just getting in there. We're going to look at our agenda for today. So we just did a quick intro and got enrolled in our demo section. And now we're going to hop over, and Jennifer is going to give us an overview of our Python course. What's in there? What are your kids going to learn? What information is there for you? And then we're going to go through 2 sample lessons. So we're going to have Jennifer go through a full sample lesson in the Python course with you acting as the students, and then she'll debrief why she made some of those decisions, how you can change this for your classroom, all of those kind of things. And then we'll go through another sample lesson with some more focus on those instructional tools and strategies that you can use with your students. We'll take a very quick break, and then we'll come back and look at some of those teacher tools and resources, and how you can make the most of your CodeHS experience. And then we'll wrap up. And again, we have that parking lot document. So maybe we can drop that parking lot code in one link in one more time. So you guys can ask those questions throughout our session today. You don't have to hold on to them until the end. You can just enter your question right into the parking lot, and you'll be able to get your answers right on that document. All right. I think we're ready to hop in and see some Python.
All right, thanks. I'll take it from here. I'm so excited. Like, Python is a course that like I wasn't into at first. I learned JavaScript first, and then I learned Python, and I was like, this is so much easier. So I love it. All right, so this is the Python course overview. The way we do things, this is all our courses basically at CodeHS. we break things down into modules, which, modules, units, chapters, whatever you call them, that's basically what our module is. And then within each module, oh, it didn't change. Okay, hold on. It's changed on mine, but it didn't change on here. There it is. Okay, so the modules are each broken down into lessons. So this is just an example of one of them. I'll go over, all the different modules in a second. And then each lesson has a bunch of different activities. So we have videos, we've got quizzes, we've got examples where students just run the code and check out what's going on. Then we got exercises where students actually code. And then we have a few debugging exercises as well. We try to keep it, a variety in there. So these are all the modules. This is the modules breakdown for Python. So I'll leave this up here for a little bit. I know you're not going to read all of it. It's a lot of text here, but basically what we do is we teach the students how to code in Python using Tracy first. So Tracy is a fun way to kind of get to the basics of for loops and all of that stuff. And then once they get that surface knowledge, then we go into actual Python and teach them how to do things in the console. And then once they, learn the console, then we go again into more depth with conditionals, looping, and all of that. So we have the functions, we've got strings, we've got data structures, we've got more data structures, and then we've got a bunch of projects in there too. The one project that's listed here is our main project, but we do have some other projects, some supplemental projects that you can either swap in or, just add if a student finishes early. So these are some of the other things that we offer in the course as well, supplemental. So we have Python graphics, advanced Tracy challenging. We have some interdisciplinary, like categorizing triangles, and then just more in-depth type stuff like classes and objects and stuff like that. And I'm going to try to check the chat every once in a while, but it's hard. I'm all over the place with these screens I've got right now. And then Zoom is making my computer like overheat. So hopefully we'll be all right. All right, we are going to do okay, it's just delayed. There we go. We're going to do a lesson together. So I'm going to act as a teacher. You guys are going to be my students. So what I want you to do right now, I'm going to show you what this looks like. When you log into the course, it should look like, okay, you might have to do one more click before this. Nope, it's not that one. It is, oh no, it is this one. So once you get to this screen, what I want you to do is we're going to find the same lesson. We're going to use user input. So it's 3.3. So we're going to go to, this is unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. So basic Python and console. If you click on this, it opens. And then we're going to do 3.3 right here. So I'm going to give a second. Let me know if you have any issues finding that. You can, if you'd like, just click into the first one. But I'm going to show you a different way. I'm going to actually go through these slides instead of us all watching the video. So I'll give it a second, ask questions in there if you cannot find user input 3.3. And if you don't have an account, what you can do is just watch along. You'll still have a chance to interact and participate. All right, so I'm going to start this lesson. So welcome to class. These are what we're going to start off with a review because this is 3.3. So I want to make sure that we are all up to speed with the information that's going to be in here because it is the third lesson. So this would be kind of like a bell ringer that you could do. And it's also a review to make sure that everyone has the prereq knowledge. All right, so variable naming rules in Python. These are our rules here. So made up of lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores. They can't start with a number, and they use snake case, where words are separated by underscores. And they should be descriptive. All right, so we're going to do an activity here. There's going to be plenty of chances for you guys to interact. Number of apples. This is an example of a variable. Now you're going to use your reactions. So check on your reactions. And what we're going to do is you're going to either click yes if you think this applies, or no if you don't think that this follows the rules. I don't know where I can find these. Where's my participants? There they are. Cool, I can see them. And we're going to use this reactions a lot. So I'm going to wait right now. I think I see 6 people found it. Let's see if you guys can find it. Let me know if you need help. And I think they end up disappearing. So that's why I see the number going up and then down. So I think we're good. Yes, this would be a yes. This is okay. So this is snake case. It's lowercase letters. There's no number, there's no beginning number. So this one's fine. Very good. All right, let's try another one. How about this one? 4 circles, yes or no? Excellent. Well, you guys got that one fast. Yeah, this one starts with a 4. Now, it'd probably be okay if you spelled out the word 4, but you don't want to use the number. All right, one more. How about age? Do you think this follows our rules or no? Yeah, this one's a tricky one because it's so short, but this one is actually fine. It's descriptive enough. So even though it's just a short little word, this is definitely fine. This would work because it's descriptive enough. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of a types review just to make sure that you have the right knowledge for this lesson. And if you don't, this is kind of just like, this would be like if you were absent for the last 2 days. All right, so in the chat, provide an example of a string. And if we're all new at this, I can give examples or we can help. I'm sure we can help each other. Yeah, good, Matt. Good, Rebecca. Yeah, and if you didn't know what this is, take a look at your chat. A string is just letters, characters, spaces. And you see a lot of people are putting them in quotes. That's just because a string is going to be in quotes. It could be in single quotes or it could be in double quotes. In CodeHS, we typically use the double quotes, but both work. All right, excellent. All right, here's another participant. -24 is an example of an integer. What do you guys think? Yes or no? And I threw the negative in there to not make it so easy. Yes, yeah, this is an integer. Very good. An integer is just anything without the decimal portion, right? So these are types that are used in Python. So just as a refresher. This one's a little tougher. So raise your hand if you want to tell us what a floating point number is. Oh, no one wants to talk. Jim, go for it, Jim.
So floating point is any number with like decimal, right? So any number with a decimal point value or fractional part of the number. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being brave and putting your hand up because no one ever wants to do that. But that's what you're going to get from your students too, especially if you're doing like a virtual or hybrid or even in class. They still don't raise their hands. All right, excellent. So I think we have enough. We can start moving on to our course. So what I'm going to do here is you have a choice. There's a video here and we have a lot of different options for if you're doing self-paced and letting your students go through it on their own, or if you're, doing it together in a full class or virtual. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do this. What we're going to do today, instead of having everyone watch the video, I'm actually just going to go through the slides. So I'm going to redirect myself to the slides. So if you did click on this, you're probably in the video. I'll show you how to get to the slides. Okay, so up here, and you can follow along with me or you could just watch the screen. So up here, you can change the video. We have it hosted through CodeHS too, just in case YouTube's blocked. But if you click here, you can get to the slides. So we're going to go through these slides together. We'll give it a second.
Does the video,
Now, as a teacher or a student, while we're waiting, sorry, was someone talking? Sorry.
does the video have sound?
Oh, yes, yes. The video option, it's basically, It's kind of like just talking through the slides. So yes, it does have sound. And let's see if I do full screen, if maybe it will pop it up for me and load. Not quite. There are speaker notes here just as we're waiting for this to load. And speaker notes can be accessed by the teacher or by the student. So it helps a lot to, you know, if they want to read along as the video is going and stuff like that, or if you want to do the slides, but you want a little bit of background information. All right, so we're going to learn about user input today. I wonder if I can just make this large. Nope, it's not working. This is definitely a Zoom thing. Okay, so we're going to try to go through these. All right, so what is a user? So programmer, and you're going to see this when we get into it. Programmer is the one that writes the code on in the editor, the code editor, and then user is the one that adds in the code when it's asked. So we're going to become the user today.
Don't worry, Jennifer. After the year we've just had as teachers, we all know how this feels.
Can anyone open the slides in the Google Drive and just give me that link? Someone on my team?
Yeah, let me take a look.
That might load faster than trying to put it through here. Okay, there's page 3. All right, so in this lesson, you're going to learn how to write programs that ask the user information, and then it's going to use that information to print more or do something else with. So basic user endpoint, we need a way to retrieve what the user types, and we need a way to store it as well. How do you guys think we might store it? I'll try to add in some questions in here too. So in the chat, how do you think we might store a user input? Yeah, very good. Yep, with a variable that we just learned or reviewed, right? So we're going to start with a variable. Very good. But how do we retrieve it? Has anyone done Python before? I don't know the levels in here. Do you guys know how we retrieve it? And if not, I'm going to tell you. Oh, close, Sarah. We're going to call it using a function. So you're right, actually. Yeah, there's a function, and it's actually very easily put, the input function. So we're going to use an input function, and that's going to prompt the user to put in something. So that's what we're going to end up using. So this is what it looks like, and we're going to go through what this means. And it seems like my slides are good now, so thank you for being patient. So when you want to retrieve text from the input user, you use the input function. So we're going to do input. Take a look at the syntax. It's all in parentheses. And then the string is what's going to tell the user what you want. So what is your name? That means, you know, put in your name. And then you can see the variable here. The variable is name. So now that we have that from the user, we can do anything we want with it. So we can print it. Oh, I went ahead of the slides. There's your variable. And then that's what we're going to do with it. So here's an example. So shortened version, what we can do is input name. If they put in the name Lisa, then Lisa will print. And this right here is a string. Every time you use or ask for user input, it's automatically turned into a string. So we have to go over a few things before we get into the lessons, because this might make things a little difficult in some cases. All right, in this case, so we have an age. We're asking for an age, and then we're checking the type. Now the age is a string. Does anyone know, or can anyone think of why this might be an issue? And again, it looks like we've got a lot of newbies to Python, so this might be a tough question here.
if you want to do any type of calculation.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Yeah, so a string, you can't add the string and a math item. So we're going to have to change it. And this does, I see some people in the chat. Don't worry. We're going to get you used to this, okay? It might be a lot just at first. All right, so if we wanted to do this, we can't add these together. So the number plus 1, we can't add those together. So we need another function. Right here, can you guys see it up here? Do you remember from our warm-up what int stood for? That is the integer, right? So we're going to change this. We're going to change the string to an integer. So let's see what that actually looks like. It's kind of based on math concepts where you go from the inside to the outside with parentheses. So here, right here, we input a number. Python waits and asks for it. And then it's going to change it to a string. Then we're going to go to the next outside one, right? And that's going to change the string to an integer. And then finally, the number is going to be stored as an integer. All right, so here's what it looks like. So there's a 22, but it's in quotes, right? Which means it's a string. And then it's going to change to an integer. And now it's an integer. And now we can do some math with it. I believe that's it. But what else we got in here? All right, we're going to skip some of, oh, that is it. Okay. So what I want you guys to do now, and just see this right here, the next part of your lesson is a check for understanding. So this would be really good because I know I went through a lot, but when you click, you can either click continue or you can click down here to user input. I want to give you just maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes to see if you can finish this, you know, if you got the main concepts from here. So it's just 2 questions. So I'm going to be quiet now. I'll look in the chat if you have any questions in there. And then see if you can get question 1 and question 2 on this next item. I see some people typing in the chat too. You do have, or you should have access to this in your own course as well. All right, let's go over it. What'd you guys get for question 1? What is the type of variable X in the following Python program? What is that going to turn it into? String, very good. And you get a check. And if you're not correct, it'll tell you like a reason why. I'm not on mine because I'm an admin. All right, suppose you run the following program. What'd you guys get for question 2? Let's go with A, B, C, D.
A.
We got A, so let's see.
Just a quick question. Can you see our answers?
I can. So I can go into like the teacher part and I can see all your responses. I can see there's a whole lot of teacher tools that we'll absolutely go over after this. So you can see how much time they spent, you know, on a day, and there's like progress reports and stuff like that, but you can absolutely go in and see their answers. Yeah, very good. Okay, I want to go to the next example. We'll have to wait till it catches up. There we go. All right, so examples are the best way to get your students used to code. So right now we're going to go to the next example. So again, you can click on continue, or you can go to the example down here. Yeah, sorry, I'm waiting it to get to the example. I know I still have the quiz up. It's very delayed.
Sorry again, what is an example?
I'll definitely show you once it loads. Example is kind of written code. It's got a starter code that a fully, fleshed out program that students can kind of just play around with. All right, when you get to your example, you can click run. You might see I have some extra things here. This is a teacher trick. So my teacher trick is that I put some things that I want to ask the students in here so that I wouldn't forget. So when you get into your example, you can click run and it's going to pull you through this whole program. And I think after this example, I'm going to switch gears and let you get your, since it's, being so slow. So we'll just go up to something that you can really get your hands in. All right, so enter something. Let's enter something. Something is not very descriptive, right? So let's say we put text in there. Let's see what happens. And then you hit enter. And it's going to tell you the class and stuff like that. So what happens? What do you think is going to happen when we put in a symbol? What do you guys think a symbol is? What kind of a type?
A string.
Yeah, very good. So if we put a symbol and then enter. All right, now what do you guys think about a whole number? What happens when you put in a whole number? This is kind of a trick question.
It's a string.
It's a string. Very good. Because every time you ask for user input, it's going to turn it into a string. All right, so I'm going to let you go since I can't get through these two examples. I'm going to try to maybe close things. I'm not sure. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you go to the first example. So it's saying write a program that takes a user's name and says hello to them. All right, you should save them in a variable called username. So right now I want you to navigate to 3.3.6. And I'm going to give you 10 minutes to see if you can complete this. And then I'll show you the teacher side where I can actually pull up a few and see, how everyone did.
I'm sorry, where are we to go now? 3.3.6, but how do we get out of this example?
You can go next and go through the next examples if you'd like, or you can come down here. Do you see down here? So down here at the bottom, that's an example. That's an example. And then hello name is this one.
But I don't see how you got out of it.
Oh, you click on this.
On what, when you say this?
Do you see my mouse? Sorry, I'll go back.
No, now I see your mouse. Well, yeah, I see your mouse. So how do I get it from the example back to 3.3.6?
I gotta wait for it to load and then I'll show you.
Or you could just tell me here, like, could I,
You see the little circles at the bottom?
Yeah,
Yeah. So the circle at the bottom, it's going to say hello name. That's the one you're going to look at.
hello name. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, and then just click let's go.
Mhm.
Okay, and you want us to spend a few minutes doing this?
Yes. Yeah. Explore it, type in a few things, click run, see if you get any errors.
Okay. But it doesn't say what to do.
Just don't.
You can go, actually, here you go. I put this here too, but you can also go to the tab that says either
Oh.
exercise or I think it says assignment.
Okay, here's a basic. Try running it. No. What is, I can't find the definition of a hello, of this exercise, hello name. Oh, here it is. Okay.
How y'all doing?
All right, Guys, I'm throwing an audible. I'm so sorry for my team members, but we're going to a Tracy because I can tell that a lot of teachers in here are getting a little frustrated. It might be a little bit over their head. So I want to show you guys what you would see at the beginning. So I'm totally throwing an audible here. I want to make sure that you get something out of this for sure. So what we're going to do in your, and we're going to work through a few together. So what you're going to do is over here in this section. So take a look at my screen now so we don't get lost. In this section over here, what you want to do is click on the second tab. So the second tab, what this does is show you everything. So it shows you all of the assignments. So we're going to go to the first assignment, which is turtle graphics. And this is a lot of fun. And I do think this would get students' attentions and teachers' attention before getting into real Python. So let's go into here. We're going to click on this turtle. And we are going to the first one, Intro to Python with Tracy. I'll see if I can get you a link. I might be able to get you a link, which would be much easier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get you a link to this. That would make it much easier. I don't know why it's going so slow. I do apologize for that. Like super slow. That link that I just put in the chat should bring you to this assignment. It's called Slinky. So tell me if it does not. And I want to show you what students see first. So yes, you are correct. You know, that Python might be a little intimidating at first, but that is what they will get to, regular actual code. So in here is Tracy. So instead of doing all this first, I'm going to show you what Tracy can do. You can put in forward and the amount that you want Tracy to go forward. So while you're in here, you can test it out with me. And when you press run, whoops. Well, that's good. That's your little error message. I didn't spell forward right. So we're going to put an R in there. And now when we hit run, you'll see this cute little turtle. He's going to go forward. All right. You can also go, oh man, is it left? Well, let's see. If I forget, what you can do is go to the docs right here and it'll tell you, which is really good for students. So docs right here tells you all the commands you can use. So let's take a look while we're in here. You can go forward. You can go backward, right? You can make a circle. And then we're not going to get to the pen and stuff like that, but you can do left. All right. So let's go forward, then let's go left 90 degrees. And then what we can do is add on to this. So this would be something that students would see right away, instant gratification. They can draw squares, they can draw circles. Let's try a circle one. Circle, and let's say, I don't know, 40. There we go. And they make nice little pictures. So this is getting them used to all of the Python codes and just code in general at first. All right, let me see some feedback on this. Either, what do you guys think of this as a starting point? Much better? All right, we can also put backwards in there and hit run. All right, so this is what students will see at first, and they'll get used to using Python, they'll get used to using code, they'll get used to our CodeHS editor and all of that. So they're definitely going to do that. Yes, absolutely. You can think of everything. Karen's got an excellent thing. They could write their name, right? I think that is one of them in here. I think there's an initials coming up somewhere where the student uses them to write their initials. They use Tracy to write pictures and stuff. So this is using a library. So technically this, I mean, it is Python code, but you do have to get to the Python code later on that we saw as well in the course. But this is a really good starting point. This is why we put this in the beginning, to get students interested so that they don't drop the course, you know, so that they get used to all the technical elements before getting into real Python code. I do want to go back though, because I want to show you guys something that's very cool that we love. It's one of the teacher tools. And someone check me on time also, just tell me how I'm doing with time. But I want to go to the next thing, which is the first, you know, the lesson that we were doing, but because it's really, really cool. So we do have this function called collaborate. So students can work on items together, even if they're not in the same room. Basically, they just need to have a link. So this is really good for those hybrid classes. It's really good for virtual classes, even in the computer, you know, lab or something, it might still be good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to, did you guys set up that Google Doc with all the links in the breakout rooms?
Yep, it's at the top of the parking lot.
Okay, cool. Can we share that? What's the best way of doing that? And then are you guys gonna do the breakouts or do I set that up?
MR, I can share the link to the parking lot if you can set up 8 breakout rooms. Or Leah?
So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually have you guys look at a program together. So you'll be in a breakout room together so you can talk to each other. And then you'll also be in the same coding exercise as well. The link is just up there in the, do you see MR just posted it? So what you want to do is click on that link. And then when you're in your breakout room, click on the correct link for your breakout room.
Okay, I'm opening up the breakout rooms now. Are you ready, Jennifer?
Yeah, has everyone clicked on that link first? I mean, I guess we could share too. We could share in the breakout room. Make sure everyone clicks on the link first, and then we'll do the breakout rooms. Oh, you don't know which one's for you yet, Lewis. You'll see what breakout room you're in. All right, we're going to send you to the breakout rooms.
Hello, our breakout room is not sure what we're supposed to do, so I came out to find out.
Oh, sure. So we, the group, whatever group you were assigned to,
Yeah,
that's the doc that you would go to. And then she has the directions placed in there.
where are the directions placed? I'm sorry.
So you're just taking a look at this new tool that we have on CodeHS where you can collaborate. So you can all be in this one code section together. and be working on it together. And you can you don't really need to go through the actual directions for the exercise, because like we said, the goal here is to learn about those teacher tools. So if you just want to explore that page, you can see how multiple people can join that same coding exercise, and you can all be writing code at the same time.
So we can't find that. Where is that page? That's the thing I think we're asking. We're not sure.
Okay. So the breakout room
It's-
document where it says group 1, group 2, do you have that or no?
Let me see. Yeah, I think, and when it says click here,
Yep.
okay, so it's
And
not
so once you
anything
click
that
here,
you would find, okay, it's like separate from the CodeHS platform.
right, and that would then bring you, when you click the link, it should bring you into the CodeHS platform, and you can see this. You should all be able to join on this one coding exercise and
Okay,
work
so
together.
I'll go back and let them know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it looks like the group I was just in, it was group 7. They were getting into the room and starting to work in the collaborate in the sandbox area. So that seemed to be going okay. So this is such a great tool for them to see. And Jennifer, you can toggle between all those different session windows and see exactly what everybody's doing. When would you like to bring them back? Is she still in here with us? Let me peek.
I think we were saying maybe like we'll give them a 3-minute warning now.
I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to close the room because I think all the rooms, I think it gives them a 1-minute timer warning. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up that they'll be coming back. So it looks like 30 seconds instead of 1 minute.
Hey everyone, people are coming back in and then we'll go over just a little bit more. I lost my chat. Oh, there it is.
Hi, Jennifer. We just were exploring a little bit the breakout room in CodeHS. Can you just confirm how that is done? I think we figured it out, but we weren't sure.
Do you, oh, you like the collaborate?
Right. It seemed like some of us are more familiar with like Teams, not Zoom. So we were trying to make sure we were understanding. So the breakout room in CodeHS is the sandbox with the collaborate link. Is that?
Yes, and I knew people would have questions, so I have a link to like everything that you could ever be curious about for the collaborate. Do you guys see that link? I think it's in the PowerPoint. If you guys can help me and put it in the chat. All right, cool. So that is a new function that we have that we, the kind of like virtual teaching brought on that we thought was necessary. And it's a really cool way to get students to work on things. And then as a teacher, like we'll go over this one, this team got it. And I was able to actually go in there and kind of give them a little hint because I know we switched lessons around. So we didn't really get into string functions. So this was too much, I guess. But this level, this group breakout 2 did get it. So when you click run, it says, how old are you? You can put in a number, it will add to it and print it. So as a teacher, this is really cool. You can go to all the breakout rooms. You can see what everyone has done. You can type to them and give them some, information. You can also see who's in there. Really cool stuff. And at this point, we're going to end you guys being students. And I want to go through some of the resources that are available for you. So not there.
You
This
said
one.
we're going to get a break.
Yes, that's after this, right? Or do you, that's after this, right? Someone help me. Yes, yeah, that's after this.
Yep, right before we do our teacher tools.
Okay.
All right, so this is the lesson plan. You can go through a whole resource page. This looks a little overwhelming at first, but what this is every single resource for every single lesson. So what I'm doing is the user input, that's what we kind of worked on. And I'm clicking lesson plan. And then you can get to your handouts here as well. I'll show you those. But lesson plan has everything in it. So it starts here. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. It gives you a description. It gives you objectives, which are useful. Like if your admins require, like lesson plans to be submitted and stuff. It lists all the activities. And then these are links on how to get to it. And then if you happen to have Pro, what's kind of cool is you can print the slides or you can print the quiz. If you don't have Pro, you can technically still do that. It's just a little bit, this makes it a little easier. Now I did want to share, we have solution references. So obviously the answers are given to you, but these problem guides are really cool. So I'm going to open up a problem guide in the background, kind of let it load while we go over the other things. There also are offline activities like handouts and offline projects. So this is what one of the offline activities looks like. So this would be the student version, where it has a little bit of a discussion that they can read or you can talk about together. And then it has just something that they can get their eyes off the screen for a bit and try to do some coding or try to do some examples just on paper. And then of course it has the teacher version that gives you the answers. And I'm going to X these out, try to speed up my computer a little bit. All right, so here's the problem guide. So the problem guide, this is the one that you guys were working on. The problem guide lists the description and what's expected. It gives you a motivation as well. It gives you the solution. So this was the solution that they used. And then this is a really cool thing that I think would be super helpful for a teacher. It gives you these common questions, almost like FAQ for every single assignment. So this one's saying, can I get the input from the user and then change it back, to an int? And then this is the answer. So when I try to add one to the variable, I get an error. Why? It'll give you the answer. So for a teacher, this is awesome because these are the questions that the students might ask you and you have the answers right here. And these change per exercise. So they're all for this specific exercise. And then other things on the lesson plan, you have planning notes. You have a full lesson plan telling you what to do for the opener, telling you what to do for each example, how to use the worksheet or the handout, and then also prior knowledge. So what students need to know beforehand. As well, it lists the video slides. Like I said, everything is in here. So it's one-stop shop. And then it also offers these discussion questions. So the discussions questions you can use for exit tickets, the end of class ones, the beginning class could be your bell ringer. So a lot of things you can use. And then of course, modifications as well. All right, so I want to put you guys in the teacher spot now, and then we'll take a break. So in the teacher one, we're going to try to plan we're not going to look at the content. We're just going to look at the pieces, the for loops lesson. So take a look here. This is all the resources you have. So for loops, we have a video, we have a quiz, we have two examples where, the code is out there. All they have to do is press run and then play around with it. We have two exercises, and then they end with a badge, which is nice for the student. Okay, so we're going to use our reactions again. So here's our video. If you put yourself in the teacher's position of this thing, and it seems like we have a lot of new teachers in here, so I'm kind of guessing which one's going to pop up here. Well, how do you think you would want to use the video? Would you want to watch the video in class and then choose the wave emoji? Do you want to watch the video before the class, almost like flipped learning, right? Have the students watch it before the class? Or do you want to teach with the slides, similar to how I did today? And let me get my participants out. Cool, it's a nice mix. It looks like most people want to teach with slides. What we have a lot of teachers do actually is the first year they'll end up using the videos just because it's kind of new to them too. And then after that, they get to teach with the slides. So they get to put their own personality into it and stuff. All right, the little quiz. So 2 questions, 3 questions, that's all that there is after it. What do you guys think you can envision yourself doing for that? Do you want to give it individually? That should be after the video, not after the quiz. Do you want to do it as an exit ticket at the end of the lesson, or maybe as homework? So again, choose wave, thumbs up, or heart of how you might want to use that 2 to 4 question quiz. We got lots of people wanting it as an exit ticket. Yeah, I think that's a great idea as well. And it's right there. It's in the it's right there for you. You don't have to like try to get a new one or try to put new stuff in there. Excellent. This is actually really good feedback for us too. All right, the exercises. So the exercises, the ones that you don't have to do anything, you just have to explore. What do you envision yourself? Complete, have the students complete it individually, complete as a whole class together, or maybe complete in pairs or small groups. Looks like we got mostly, complete in pairs and small groups. I think I would choose that one too. It gives them 2 different, perspectives on the same code that they're looking at. All right, how about the exercises? So exercises again, do we want to do both of them individually? Do we want to use pair programming, which is 2 students, programming the same code, or maybe a mixture of in pairs and individually? Cool, looks like a mixture. All right, I'm going to pass through these, I think. I do have a question, or I'd like to, and this would be typing out, so no more reactions. So we do offer these discussion questions. So take a look here, and how do you envision yourself using these? So the good thing about these is that there's 2 to 3 questions, but they all include the answers too. So it's a pretty easy way to use this for something else. So in the chat, what do you think you might want to be able to use these discussion questions for? Oh, homework's a good one. Warm up. It's so funny, the different words. So warm up, we got bell ringer, we got everything. I know when I was a student, they used to be called a do now, which is very descriptive. Just you get in, you do it now. Class feedback, review, warm up, small group breakouts. Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot that you can use this extra piece for. Even like a journal. Like what if they kept like a coding journal, and then every day they had the beginning, journal questions, the end of the journal questions. All right, well, that's it from me. We're going to take a little break now. How long is this break, guys? Or if someone wants to just take over, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to break for about 5 minutes. We can all come back at around 1:16. We'll get restarted again at 1:16. So go take a quick break, and we'll come back and look at some teacher tools on the site. Thanks, Jennifer.
Hi, Julia. I came in a bit late. Will the recording be made available to attendees after?
Yep, you'll be getting a recording right after we're done.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your break.
Julia, I had a question, possibly. I was curious about supporting resources. I know you guys do a good job of explaining things and having the kids do it and hands-on and the whole bit. But as a fundamental foundation for future, I'm wondering if there's resources and explanations for things like variable types, functions, and more the extended theory behind it, I guess, the concept development. Do you have documents that you link to for that?
Yeah, so we have lots and lots of resources. Do you have the parking lot open, the parking lot document? There was a link in the chat. It's codehs.com/Python questions.
I'm not sure what you mean by parking lot because there were so many things. I have the
Yeah.
question your parking lot. Is that the one?
Oh, MR just dropped it into the chat. So if you go to that document and you put that question in there, you'll be able to get lots of links to a bunch of those different resources that you're looking for.
So this is the parking lot. Which links do you, just the links on the answer to the questions?
So if you just scroll down to the bottom and you put that question that you just asked me in there,
Yeah.
we will give you links there to answer that question. So you'll be able to directly be able to review those resources.
And how long does this parking lot question document hang out here?
It will probably last forever.
Oh, okay. I was, a couple of weeks would be fine, but okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and I think we are ready to get going now. So thank you everyone for joining us during Jennifer's teacher time going through. I know it's difficult to put yourself in the shoes of a student, but we really wanted you to be able to see all the different options that you have when you're using CodeHS, because we know everyone has a different style of teaching. Everyone likes to do things differently, and we want to show you all those options that you had. So at the end, when Jennifer was asking you, how could you see yourself using these different pieces of information, pieces of curriculum that we're providing you, we really wanted you to be able to see that there are so many different ways that you can structure your class the way that you want it. Whether you want students to go throughout their own pace, or you want every student to be working together on the same lesson, you want to use collaboration, or you want individual work. There's so many different options for you to use those tools that way. And again, we're sorry if some of you were a little lost. our goal was really to focus on those teacher tools and the teacher tips that you could use when you're using this content. But we know that some of you have maybe not even seen any Python before. So that content might have just jumbled your brain a little bit and made you not be able to focus on the actual teacher portion. But right now we're going to shift gears and we're going to look at a lot of those tools that you have available on CodeHS to check in with your students, to take a look at how they are doing on those activities. I know Jennifer showed you that Collaborate tool and how you could have the student activities up on your screen and you can give real-time feedback to your students as they're working in groups on those activities. So that's one resource that is really awesome for you to be able to help your students as they're working through their content. I'm going to show you a bunch more tools that you can use as you are working as the teacher, trying to run your class using CodeHS. So on the main page, when you first come into, good question, Karen. I'm like trying to monitor the chat. Again, the parking lot, which MR just dropped in, is a really good place so that I don't miss any of your questions. But those Collaborate links, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can create as many Collaborate links as you want, and you could just direct students to the link that you want them to use. So if you want students to work in pairs, you would only provide that to those 2 students. If you want 4 or 5 students working on one project together, you can provide all 4 or 5 of them that link. So I think you can do as many as you would want, Karen. So we're going to jump into the main tools for CodeHS. So this is not Python specific. These are things that you can use on CodeHS regardless of what class you're teaching. And this, I'm going to show you a lot of places where you can click. We will drop some links in the chat. If I click on something and then I continue working through and you aren't sure where to find it, definitely check out that parking lot doc and type that question in, because it's really easy for my whole team to give those direct links that will answer your question right away. Because I know there's so many tools on CodeHS. This is one of the things that I love the most about it, because there are teachers who use this in so many different ways, and our team is constantly creating those new tools. Last year, when I was working at CodeHS, we didn't have that Collaborate tool. And a bunch of teachers said, I really want it to be easy for my students to pair program. And then our team developed that tool. So that's brand new. I hadn't even seen it, which is why I'm so excited by it. But I want to show you a bunch of other things that will help you on CodeHS with your students. So if you are first logged into CodeHS, you should see a page that looks very similar to this. You might not have any sections here. If you joined our demo course, you would have that course popped up here. Anytime you want to return to this page, you can just click the little icon for CodeHS in the corner, and you'll return back to this main page where it will have all of your classes. And we can hop into a class to take a look at it. I have a bunch of these tabs opened here. If you click right on your demo section, I'm just going to skip to my tab so we don't have to wait for anything to load. So when you click on any of those sections, any of your courses that you have, you'll then see this page. And unless you have students in, there will be no students here. You'll have to have students join your section, which you can do up here. And we have a new CodeHS webinar workshop that is for brand new teachers that will go over all of these very fundamental pieces of using CodeHS. So I definitely suggest that you check that out if you are totally new to the site. But I'm going to gloss over some of those for any of our teachers who are interested in more of those tools, just showing you what's available. So on this page, once you have some students here, there's a lot of really, really cool options for you that are different ways you can communicate with your students and different ways you can give students exactly what they need. So one thing that I want to show you is this announcements. So if you click right onto announcements, you'll see, and I'll just skip, you'll see that you can choose which section you're talking about, and you can make an announcement to your entire class. So this is a really great way. I know this year I had to communicate with my students a lot through email, and I'm sure you know students are not that great at email. So having them have a pop-up right on their CodeHS when they log in is a really good way to make sure that that information you want to give to them is going to pop up on their screen. They're going to see it right away. So that announcements tool will be really helpful to share that information directly with those students. Then let's go back to my section. And another tool that we have is this conversation. So maybe Isabella was absent last class and I want to start a conversation with her. I want to check in with her, see if she needs any help, if she wants to come meet with me during lunch or something. I can click this conversation directly with this student and it will bring up a chat where I can send a message directly to her and then she will be able to respond back to me. And it's a way for me to just communicate with that student regardless of a specific activity on CodeHS. There's another way for you to chat with a student about a specific exercise, and I'll show you that as well. But if you want just to chat with them in general, ask them a question, a general question, this is a really good way to do it using this conversations. And the last really cool tool that we have right here is this attendance. So if you open your attendance, if you click right on this button, we're going to see our attendance for this section. So I have all my students, and as they join CodeHS, we're going to have the first time that they came in, what they did most recently, and then you can even click this weekly attendance and see, did they log on the days that they were supposed to, right? So right now, I guess it's summer, all my kids are out. Isabella's not here anymore. No one's logging in, but you'll be able to see which students logged into CodeHS when. So this is a really awesome way for you to be sure that your students are getting onto the site and working on what they need to. All right. And again, if you have any questions, I can kind of see the chat. Really, really helpful to put those into the parking lot so that you can get all that information and I don't miss anything. But yeah, it was really, I mean, for having remote this year, definitely a really helpful tool. And yeah, the attendance tool is a pro tool. Good question. All right. So the next thing that I want to check out are some of these items at the top of the screen. And you'll be able to see a bunch of these options up here. And a lot of them are also mimicked on the side over here. You can always collapse this bar if you want more space, but a lot of these links are up here as well. So it's just a preference of where you want to, how you want to get to where you're looking for. So I'm going to go over to course settings, and there's a bunch of different ways for you to change the way that your course is viewed or is used by your students. But I want to focus today on this due date and access controls. And these can be found in separate things if you want to just focus on due dates or just focus on access controls. If you want to do it all together, you can click right on here. And once we hop into our due dates and access controls, you'll be able to see the whole course and change what parts of the course your students are able to see or able to complete. And all of these, so on the main screen, you'll just see the modules, those larger chapters. And if you expand, you'll see every lesson inside that module. And you can expand even further to see every activity inside the lesson, inside the module. So there's so many ways that you can control when your students are accessing certain pieces of information. You can set a due date for the entire module. You can set a due date for just that lesson. You could set a due date for each individual activity. If you wanted, like Jennifer had said earlier, if you want to say, I want everyone to watch the video before they come to class, you could set a due date as the night before class so that students know they need to have that video viewed before they come into class with you. So let's talk quickly about the difference between this assigned and access controls. So assigned, if I said, I have some higher level students, they already know a little bit of JavaScript. I don't need them to go through the Carol modules. I can unassign these modules, and that means they won't even show up to the students. So they will never even know that they were there. This is a really helpful thing if you just want to customize the class. You can just say, this is gone. The students don't need to see this information. A different way that you could do this is with access controls. So maybe you want everyone to go through Program with Carol, and you want them to start on the Carol challenges, maybe on the 3rd week of school. So you can go over to here and you could either lock this module, which means it is students can see that it exists, but it has a little padlock symbol. And you'll then have to come back in when you're ready and switch this to available manually. The other way, which I really love, is scheduled. So you can say, okay, by the 3rd week of school, I want students to be able to access these challenges. They should be ready for them. So you can put a start time in there to say, this is when this module will be accessible. This is when they will be able to work on it. You could also put an end time in for when you want that module to be locked again. So you could tell students, you have a week to complete these challenges. It's going to open on Monday and it's going to close on Friday. And that's it, right? That's a really good way for you to control what they are working on and when. So that's the the difference between assigned and access controls. And you can also set that due date in there. And something that's really awesome, because I have noticed, and I'm sure a lot of us will notice next year, students this year got a wide range of information. Some students were really good with remote learning. Some students were not. And we might have students coming in then at all different places. So I think it's going to be really, really important for us to differentiate for our students next year. So this is an awesome way that you can do that. If you want to just say that maybe Oliver needs to start with Carol, and I don't want everyone to start with Carol, I can go to Oliver and I can change the access controls for just this student. So I can say, Oliver, I want you to work on Carol for 2 weeks. Everyone else, you're going to work on Carol for 1 week, or, based on where they are. And you can also, for the portions of CodeHS that allow blocks, which is Carol and Tracy and some of our web design, you can say that maybe one student you're going to say, I'm going to let you use blocks for the first one and not for the second one. You can say some students will use blocks and some students won't. So there's so many different options there. And then another way that you can make sure that students are getting exactly what they need, you can turn on or off copy paste for certain students. So this is a lot of teachers use this as a way to prevent or push cheating to the side. You can say, I'll allow you to copy and paste for now. And if you do not use that correctly, then if you abuse that power, then you could just turn that off for a certain student or certain groups of students. So these access controls by student are really, really awesome with differentiation. All right, let's hop over to our next. I'm going to go back over to here. So that was all in course settings, due date, and access controls. And now we're going to hop over to the gradebook tool tab. So if we click on gradebook, and I think I have it. First, I'm going to go into progress. Progress and gradebook are similar, but you can view things in different ways. So if we go to view progress by assignment, and I'm going to close these out so we don't get too confused. So here's my assignment, view progress by assignment. You'll see a lot of these colors. And if you're new to CodeHS, this might be confusing. So I want you to take a look at this key. If you hover over each color, you'll see what it means. So this teal color means it's finalized, means it has been graded, and the student went through, you gave them their final grade for that assignment. We have these different pink colors. Light pink means you reviewed the exercise and you want the student to make some changes. So the student submitted their exercise, but it's not 100% correct. So you can leave some feedback, which I'll show you how to do, and it will get sent back to the student for them to then make changes. And then once it's sent back for you to grade again, it will turn this deep maroon color. So all of these, you'll see exactly really quickly, an awesome, really fast way to see what students are working on, what they've completed, where they are, how far they are in the course. And you can view this progress in a lot of different ways. So you can look by just each assignment, by a full lesson, by an entire module. You can look at their quiz scores. And I want us to take a look at this time tracking, because this is another really good way for you to try to make sure students are all working on their own assignments. So we can see here, they're all colored the same way. This tells us that Isabella on this first program spent 1 minute and 45 seconds on this program. So there's a lot of really helpful information you can get here as a teacher. You have so much data. You are able to see which students might have really quickly. This one only took 53 seconds. Maybe they copy pasted, right? That's a good way for you to then know who to check in with. It also will help you. Maybe it took one student way longer than everyone else. That might be a student that you want to spend some one-on-one time during class, making sure that they are understanding the content. So this is really good for you to see the average and see where your different students fall so that you can differentiate for them as well. All right, and if we head over to the grade book, which is a separate tab, so we have our progress, which we viewed in a bunch of different ways. And now we're on that grade book tab, and you can see the colors are still the same. So that key exists in our grade book as well. And you'll see the points available for each exercise. You can see the, what type of activity it was. And what if you're like, well, I don't really want the video to count in my grade book? You can go over to configure and change which types of activities will actually be put into the grade book. This is really helpful because everyone has a different grading policy, and this will help you be able to configure your grade book the exact way that you want it to be. So you can see a lot of different ways that you have control over the way that that grade and the grade book is configured. All right. Let's head over to our next section, review. So I'm going to close these out quick. All right, and so if we're back on that main screen, you can see review on the top. You can also see code review on the left-hand panel. These are the same ways to get, two different ways to get to the same thing. So if we go to review, we'll open our review portal. So here we have at the top, any students that have actually typed in a question to you on an exercise. You can see all these questions right here, and you'll see the student and which activity it was. So we can go into help mode to look just at the assignments where students are actually reaching out to you for help. If we click on help mode, yeah, I do. If we go into our help mode, you'll be able to open the exercise that the student is working on. If we go to more and conversation, I had told you that there's another way for you to check out to converse with a student on a specific exercise. So if we click more and conversation, you'll see that we have the question that the student is asking, and I can write an answer right in here. So I might say, take another look at our slides from class on Monday. And maybe I want to tell them a very specific part of their code that they might be getting wrong. So maybe I want to show them this function. So I can copy this from their code, put it into here. And if I highlight this and click this little computer symbol, it will change that text to make it look like code. So they know exactly what you are talking about, exactly what you are trying to, what information you're trying to give to them. So this is a really awesome tip, using that code section to show them, here is where your mistake is. Might be really helpful for them to be able to push through and continue on that activity. So that's in help mode. You'll be able to go through all of the questions that students are having for that specific, for each exercise. If we go back, let me go back to review. So that will focus on the student help questions. We also have the submissions from the student. So any activity that a student has completed that they've clicked submit and is ready to be graded by you. So we have two different tools that you can use to grade these students' work. So we have grade mode, which is going to go through each of the activities that a student has submitted. It will open it the same way. It will look like the way that a student has in their own editor. You can try things yourself as well. It's not going to change the student's submission, but if you're like, well, is this what's wrong? Is this what they need to do to fix it? You can go ahead and run the code with your additional comments or commands in there. You can also have the same type of conversation if you want to let a student know a piece of information, or in the grade tab, you can leave feedback directly here as well. So you have some options here, and these colors, a lot of these colors match with the colors in the gradebook. So if you mark something as finalized, right, you're saying you're getting a 0, you don't get another chance, right? If you say maybe you got 3 out of 6, don't forget about comments. You can mark needs work, and this will then send that student this grade with that comment, and then automatically the next submission will pop up for you. So you can go through and grade all of them back to back, one after another. So you'll be able to see how many submissions you have, and go through all of them to give them their feedback. The other way that you can grade here is on our, oh, this was from my help. Okay, so let's go back to our review. So that was the grade mode, which is a free tool. That's how anyone can grade. Fast Grade is a pro tool that makes it a little bit easier. It's just another way to grade. So here in fast grade, you'll be able to see what the student's code is, what the solution code from CodeHS is. And remember, for these beginner exercises, the code is probably command for command, but there might be other ways that students can solve that program without the exact solution code matching. So you can also run the student code right in here, which is an awesome way for you to know if the student found another solution. You also have all of those grading options here, the same way that you did in grade mode. But something that's really cool about Fast Grade is this filters and ordering. So you can filter by a specific assignment. If you say, I know for me, when I'm grading, I want to grade the same thing over and over because it's in my head. I know what I need to say. I know what I'm looking for. So I can just put in the one specific assignment and only see that assignment back to back to back. Or I can say, okay, I really need to make sure that I'm grading the things that students sent in a long time ago first, right? So the oldest things first. You can grade by last name. So this one student, maybe Isabella had a bunch of things that she just turned in. So I just want to grade all of her things. I can grade, order my queue that way as well. So this is a really nice way for you to quickly grade. So maybe I say, okay, this is great. I can either award full credit, I can finalize, and you'll see that my queue then, it will tell me, okay, I have 14 left, right? So I know I can, go have lunch. As soon as my queue is empty, I'm going to say, oh, this one's wrong. Double check this assignment. And I can just say needs work. That will send it back. Needs work. Now I have 13 left. So I have a nice way of knowing exactly how many more things I need to grade before I can go get lunch. This tool, the fast grade tool, is a pro tool, but the grade mode tool is free. So that is for everyone. All right, let's take a look. I have my last one, resources, which is something that Jennifer started showing you earlier. So if you go over to the left-hand side, resources, or if I'm in my class, sorry, there's all these Zoom things all over my screen. So that's why my cursor is going all over. So if I click on resources here or on the tab on the left, this is going to show me the resources for this exact course that I'm in, my section right now. And I can change to the different sections that I teach if I teach a different course as well. And you'll be able to see all of those symbols with the really easy, quick links. Go right to that exercise, look at the solution, look at the problem guide, or some of these have points in a textbook to give you more resources. And you can see how many handouts are available, go right to them, go directly to the lesson plan. So this is an awesome way to just see all of your resources right at once. The syllabus is also offered right here. And if we go to a specific category, you'll see them all in that list. If we go back on the left-hand bar, you'll be able to see all of these resources and switch your view, your course this way. So it's just another way to view these resources for you. And we went over the lesson plans and some handouts. The syllabus is available here. And if you are a free or a pro teacher, those solutions are always available to you, and those can be found right here, those solution references. So if you are trying to stay just one step ahead of your students, this is where you want to go to make sure that you know the answers to all of the activities they are working on that day. All right, so that was a lot. The last thing that I want us to take a look at, I know we are in a Python specific workshop right now, but you might also want to take a look at what other things CodeHS has to offer, what other classes there are. You might also be teaching more than one computer science course. So if you head over to my courses and click view course catalog, you'll be able to see all the other course offerings that we have. And we have so many, a bunch of them are coming out for this next year, a lot of awesome new content. So you can search for a specific course, you can look for middle or high school. We have state specific courses that are linked to state standards. You can take a look at all of these other filters that we have. And from this page, you have so many options to look at all of these different types of all the information that we have for each of these courses that we offer. And if you have any questions about this, it will be really helpful to put those into the parking lot so that we can make sure you have a link directly and that you can revisit that answer when you need it. All right. So that was a lot. Awesome. Thank you, MR, for putting that into the chat. And I am just going to head over to our, let's see where we are here. So if you're going to get access to these slides, I just went through a lot of these tools in a demo mode, so you can revisit those with the recording that we're going to send out. You'll also get links to these slides. and you'll see some screenshots here of the different things that I talked about. So that can be revisited that way. And we have a bunch of other ways for you to get information. We know that there are so many people using CodeHS in so many different ways. So here are some other resources we have available. We have a certified educator program at CodeHS. So that is something you can search for or ask on the parking lot if you want a link for more information there. We have a Facebook group that is a lot of people talking and sharing resources on all of our CodeHS courses and the different offerings that we have. We have a bunch of other free CodeHS workshops that are going on this summer. So if we took a look at Python today, there are a bunch of other courses and brand new courses that are coming out where we're going to be doing some workshops on those for the rest of the summer. And then we are active on different social media platforms, so you can share with us there, communicate with us there. All right. And, okay, we have a feedback survey. If you could take a few minutes to let us know any thoughts that you had on our workshop today, you can go to codehs.com/workshop survey, and we'll put that link in the chat. And the last thing that I wanted to let you know is that if you need a certificate of completion for attending this workshop today, you can go right to codehs.com/Python certificate, and you'll be able to, it will just ask for your name and email, so we can create one of those for you and send them out to you with that information. All right, and I lost my chat. So let's see. All right, doing this on one screen is really tough. I remember the first thing that I had to do when I was teaching remotely was get a second monitor. So I will need to do that. But thank you everyone for joining us. If this will click through. All right. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you got some good information. And if you have any questions, that parking lot will be available. You can always send some emails. And hello@CodeHS, you can reach any of us, and have a great summer. Hopefully we'll see some of you in a next webinar, next workshop.